One of our goals at the St. Tammany Chamber of Commerce is to help inform voters about issues and candidates on the ballot. For this reason, we invited all candidates in the contested school board races to participate in an interview. Each candidate was asked to speak for 3 minutes and address the 5 following questions. What is your name and profession? Why are you running for school board? What do you want to accomplish if elected? With our most recent LEAP scores and number 18 ranking in district performance scores, what specifically needs to be done to improve our educational outcomes? And why are you the best candidate in your district? Candidates are speaking in alphabetical order. We hope that you find this presentation informative. If you have any additional questions for any of the candidates, please reach out to them individually. Now we will hear from the candidates in District 8. District 8 covers Creekside Junior, Pearl River High, and 6th Ward Elementary. First to speak will be Mr. Mike Peterson.
Yes, I'm so glad to be here with you this morning, Jessica, and I appreciate the opportunity to reach out to our voters and to our citizens in our community. And as you said, my name is Mike Peterson. I'm a retired school principal from North Shore High School. I've served as the principal for 13 years there, and as a disciplinarian principal 6 years prior to that. And I have been in education in several systems for a total of 37 years. I've had a wide and varied experience of roles in that environment, and not only as principal, assistant principal, but as an English teacher from 29 of those years, and not 29, I'm sorry, 22 of those years, and also athletic director and coach of several sports along the way. And I've seen great school systems. I've been a part of those systems, and St. Tammany was one of those top-notch systems. I retired 9 years ago, and I just feel, your next question is, why are we doing this? I feel compelled because of the seriousness of what we need to accomplish in our educational system over the next few short years. And I want to dedicate these years to putting us back on the rails and letting our school focus on the things that need to be done in order to improve our opportunities for our children and our community in the near future. In addition to that, that information, what I hope to accomplish is to put the focus and the attention of academic performance for our students. I want to elaborate even more so, not only on the college route of education, but on the vocational route of education. They are both educational directions, and there's oftentimes we have students that want to do both. And I want to make sure they have the opportunities to engage in vocational as well as in collegial directions in their education pursuits. That's what I hope to accomplish, and also establish a level of transparency with all the business of the school board, and to make sure that the accountability is actually not only for ourselves as school board members, but for our administration that runs the actual day-to-day operation of our schools. This is critical for our community. It's critical for the success of our school system. As you may have said earlier, our school system is ranking is 15th in the state as a system. But 9 years ago, we were much higher than that, more like 4 or 5 in the state. North Shore High School, Mandeville High School, Fontainebleau High Schools. We were all three of the high schools in St. Tammany were in the top 10. There aren't at this current time any schools in that top 10, but that is not something that has occurred because necessarily of a deficit of responses or actions in the school system. It's also something that deals with the transition of students coming into the schools from weaker school systems, and they have a transition period. We have a large number of ESL students entering the school system. They don't speak English. So that's a transition that has to go on. We have an enlarged population of special education students in our school system, more so than others in the state. And that population has a longer transition period. But guess what? All three of those groups test just like the kids who are in our school system been here. And many of those scores don't really show up. They end up being low scores or zeros. So when you average all of those lower scores in, it's going to bring your school system scores down. And that's just the reality. So there are things that we don't control, and there are things that we do control. And I understand the aspects and dynamics of both. The things that we do score, that we do in our school system to improve those scores can be done better. There are better ways to get things done. Multiple times taking ACT test every year that kids are in school and in high school, 9 through 12. It should be at our expense. It should be every child should take the ACT every year. And they improve statistically on the third or fourth time once they get engaged in that process. We can provide that for our kids. Increasing the number of kids involved in AP classes. That's important, and it's also doable. You do need to have teachers at the school sites that are able to do that. Virtual classrooms set up at the schools can allow that to happen, even if you don't have the teacher there on property, because the teacher can be at Mandeville High School or Fontainebleau, and you could go to Pearl River High School and go classrooms, virtual classrooms, and still get the credit and accomplish that goal. Now, there are particulars that have to be done there, but those are things that can be done. And that's just a few of those things. There are so many more things. And I'm just going to tell you, I'm aware of those opportunities. I know how to get things done. And if we're going to move our school system forward and hit the ground running, we're going to have folks like myself to step in and get us going right away with the knowledge base that we have. And in addition to that, to improve the educational outcomes, those are just a few things. But another part of this is why would I be the best candidate? Well, I have the experience, I have the background, and I've done things in the school system that have already come to some notoriety in the past. Having students, the lowest performing level of kids in our school system. When I was principal of the high school, we created a period during the day. At the end of the day, took 5 minutes off each of the 7 periods, had a 35-minute period at the end of the day. I had those students go back to their home rooms. They had teachers helping them get started with their homework. If they had questions in subject areas of math, English, science, and social studies, they went back to visit that teacher, and those teachers help them get clarification. They go home and do their homework. And that was important because most of those kids rode the bus, and they couldn't come for tutoring after school. We had to help them while they were on campus, and that's what we did. And a national magazine noted that we had moved that lower quartile significantly to improve. And that was just one of the things. So I've been an innovator, always will be. And right now we need innovation and we need fresh ideas that can get the school system moving. So that's what I hope to accomplish. And why I'd be the best candidate, I hope I've explained that, and maybe it's self-evident in what I've already said. So thank you very much.
Now we will hear from Don Thanars.
Good morning. And again, appreciate this opportunity to articulate to our constituents about my candidacy, why I feel I'm the best candidate, and what I hope to accomplish as a member of the school board. First, I'm originally from Houston, Texas. Graduate of the public schools there and went on to attend college. And while I was in college, I worked as a police officer because I had to work my way through school. And I might add that I'm also a musician, and music was very important to my educational development. I thought school was boring, got involved in music, and it really kind of helped me stay focused, and it really helped me academically. As I said, I went on to attend college, and there I met the officer selection officer for the U.S. Marine Corps. And upon graduation, I attended the officer training and subsequently was commissioned as a second lieutenant in the U.S. Marine Corps. I went on to serve for 21 years in the Marines, retiring as a lieutenant colonel. Going to pause there for a second. While I was in college, I met my wife, who was an education major, and we subsequently were married, and in December we'll be celebrating 36 years of marriage. But I talked about the 21 years in the Marines, and there I had an opportunity to work with kids and other service members from around the country. all different walks of life, socioeconomic backgrounds, educational backgrounds. And there you have to build a team. We have objectives that we have to accomplish. And I have to take in all of that to the different nationalities, the different abilities, educational levels to be able to accomplish the goals that were before us. And I was able to do that quite successfully. I served in command billets or assignments throughout my military career. I traveled around the world, spent 5 years on the continent of Africa. I've seen different educational systems in play. And my wife, fortunately, or I can say unfortunately, traveled with me to many of those places. She's taught in 5 different school districts and had an opportunity to teach at the international school. And obviously we had kids. And so kids got the chance to experience those, have those cultural experiences and obviously working and going to school in those different school districts. While as a U.S. Marine, I earned my MBA and MA in Computer Information Systems. I attended and graduated from the FBI National Academy. So I had a great opportunity and great experiences that were obviously bestowed upon me. I'm also a graduate of executive level management courses at the Ohio State University and the Thunderbird School of Global Marketing, and that's at Arizona State. I'm well versed in Robert's Rules of Order. I've been a leader in the community. I've worked with other nonprofits, with my fraternity. I've ran and led groups and organizations, so well versed in Robert's Rules of Order. And more recently, in 2015, graduated from Leadership North Shore. What do I hope to accomplish and why am I running for school board? I am a go-getter and a difference maker. And I want to make a difference in this community. I want to raise the bar to ensure we have quality education. I want to ensure that we have board credibility and trust. Right now, just don't feel that the current board has that, and that's very important. And it's critical to have credibility and trust amongst our constituents. I want to ensure that there's transparency. I'll talk more fully about these. I want to ensure that the teachers and the staffs have a voice and have the support that we need. And then lastly, got to be engaged. You got to be engaged at all levels. You know, we got to interface with the teachers. We got to interface with the parents. We have to interface with the federal board members and the administrations. So we have to do that. My specific goals are high quality fundamental education and kids learning. Want to ensure that kids have a wholesome environment where learning can take place. As I said, renew board credibility and trust with our constituents. And we have constituents, I would say, at various levels. Want to ensure that we have a long-term budget plan, budget alignment, and transparency. Why is that important? Well, one of the biggest, dollar signs, and we have to take care of salaries, but we also have infrastructure. We have current infrastructure and new infrastructure, i.e. schools that have to be built. We should be in communication with planning to understand where growth and development is going to take place. What would be the cost to improve? We have major item replacements. AC units are a big thing. Equipment in the I don't say chow hall, in the cafeteria, but we want to ensure that we have all of those major end items. We have them on a plan, on a cycle for maintenance and replacement. Increase teacher and staff support and trust. It takes a village. And in this case, all the supporting pieces. The janitors make sure that the schools are clean and maintained. They have an important role to create that environment. The food service workers have a critical role to ensure that there's tasty food. And for many of the kids, that's the best meals that they're going to have, the meals that they get in school. But all of that is important to ensure that the environment is right for a kid to learn. Want to establish a grow your own program. We have some really good paraprofessionals, but many of whom may lack the resources to go to college, earn their degrees, and ultimately their certification. So we want to identify those individuals, support them. They have a vested interest already in the district. They're familiar with the programs and a lot of the protocols. So again, if we could assist them in that way, They have that vested interest, and we can help them kind of address some of the teacher shortage. And then lastly, and not least, is 360 communication. We have to be communicating up, down, to our left and right, and all there in between. We have to be communicating with everyone. And that helps to ensure that we have transparency. Why am I the best candidate? I have served in many roles and responsibilities, both as a Marine Corps officer and as a community advocate, working in the community, making a difference, working with coalitions, working in groups to get to yes, and identifying and setting some priorities, and then developing a plan, and then ultimately executing that plan to accomplish the goals and objectives that we have set before us. There are some challenges in this school district. I can make a difference. I have the skills, I have the intestinal fortitude to go speak out, to do the right thing for the right reasons, and do it the right way. I know I can make a difference, and I want to be a part of the change and the improvements that we can, because I understand how important having a viable and a strong school system is, not just for our kids' development, that's critical, but ultimately and equally as important to business, economic growth, and future development. Because businesses and a lot of the decisions folks make to move to this particular area is going to be based on how our schools perform. That's very important. It's to the people and the business that are here today and the business that may be here tomorrow. So it's critical that we have a very strong and a viable school system. And I want to be a part of making the difference. I got my wife with nearly 40 years of experience that I can lean on. Our oldest daughter is a teacher in Alvin ISD. I have 6 grandkids that are all in the school systems in Baton Rouge and in Alvin ISD. I have a lot of friends in the St. Tammany area. So again, I want to be a part of the difference to improve our educational system and ensure that the board has the credibility and trust of all of its constituents. So again, thank you for the opportunity, and I look forward to serving on the school board and making a difference. Thank you.
Thank you for watching our interviews with the St. Tammany School Board candidates, and we appreciate you trusting the St. Tammany Chamber of Commerce as an information source. The general election is on Tuesday, November 8th, 2022, and any runoff races will be on December 10th. If you need more information about early voting, voting locations, or to register to vote, please visit the Louisiana Secretary of State's website. Thank you so much.